Former President Donald Trump could be facing a fresh legal challenge for his bid to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia. Prosecutor Fani Willis has been probing Trump's bid to overturn the results. Willis now seems poised to end her investigation. The prosecutor is expected to seek charges against more than a dozen people. With me now is John Pitney, political science professor at Claremont McKenna College. Hi there, John. Good to see you.
Thank you.
So we're looking at a possible fourth indictment this week for the former president. What makes this one different from the previous three?
It's the state of Georgia. And unlike the federal courts, this one has the possibility of being televised. Also, what's very important here is that if Trump were convicted in Georgia, he couldn't pardon himself if he were to win the election, nor could he call off the investigation as he could with a federal case. Therefore, this is very serious business.
So what is the essence of the case against him in Florida, and how damning is the evidence that we know so far against the former president?
The case is that he tried corruptly to change the outcome of the election in Georgia. Joe Biden won the state's electoral votes, and after the votes were counted and recounted, Trump tried to influence the Secretary of State, the top elections official in the state of Georgia, to change the outcome. And the evidence is very damning because the Secretary of State recorded a phone call in which Trump mentioned the exact number of additional votes he needed to get. And in just about any other case, that would be open and shut, and the defendant would try to get a plea bargain. In this case, he's going to probably contest the indictment, but he's in a lot of trouble.
How could his lawyers, or what will be his lawyers' defense for Trump making that call? I think it's a call that many of us have heard the audio by now of already, but what will his lawyers say to defend Trump as a reason or a justification for that call?
Well, like the old joke from the sitcom, it's not a lie if you believe it. And they're going to argue that Trump actually believed that there had been widespread voter fraud in the state of Georgia. There's absolutely no evidence to support that claim, but they're going to contend that he believed it and he was simply trying to get justice for himself. Will a jury buy that argument? Doubtful, but we'll see what happens.
John, how's this going to work? President Trump, former President Trump, has a very busy court calendar. How can they possibly squeeze in another indictment before the 2024 election, another potential trial?
That's a terrific question. This is probably the final set of indictments before the election. And at some point, the prosecutors are going to have to get in touch with one another and coordinate. This is an unprecedented situation. We've never had a major party presidential candidate running under indictment. And the mechanism for coordinating is complicated as well. But that's probably what's going to happen. An open question is which prosecution goes first. And it's possible that the federal case on the insurrection could lead off, but we don't know that yet.
John Pitney is a political science professor at Claremont McKenna College. Professor, thank you very much.